Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma, and I'm getting ready to talk some Tesla. We love Teslas here. We do very well with pre-owned Teslas. I have about 8 pre-owned Teslas in stock right now. In fact, I have a couple in this service drive just to talk about some of the differences. I have a 2015 Model S P90D right in front of us, a revolutionary car. And behind, as you can see it very well, I have a 2019 Standard Range Plus. The reason why I have these vehicles in there, I think some people might consider maybe buying an older Model S versus a newer Model 3, so I want to talk about some differences. Maybe you're thinking about that. And also, for 2021 on the Model 3, they made some pretty substantial improvements, so I want to have that older version of the Model 3 just to show you some of the differences. For 2021, I think probably some of the most substantial changes for the Model 3 yet have been implemented, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. I'll try to keep it short and to the point. So this 2021 Model 3 is a one-owner clean Carfax vehicle, very low miles, only 1,663 miles. It's a long-range dual motor. Pretty much all the long-range Model 3s are dual motors. I think pretty much after 2019 and forward, all the long ranges were all-wheel drive dual motors. So there's a motor in the back and there's a motor in the front, making it all-wheel drive. But it doesn't; those two motors just don't make it all-wheel drive. It also makes it quicker. It's kind of like having two engines. So this thing is pretty quick. 0 to 60, a little over 4 seconds. Top speed's right around 140 miles per hour. You have some great driver's assistance programs. You have Autopilot. Autopilot enables the vehicle to brake and accelerate within its lane, following the flow of traffic, and it has auto steer, which is able to follow gentle bends in the highway. And I can also get the system to work on normal roads, though it is more designed for highway use. You need to be vigilant. You need to pay attention at all times, keep your hand on the wheel, and be ready to intervene. It's level 2 autonomy, so it does a great job battling driver fatigue. Basically, the car is doing the work for you on the highway, stop and go traffic, following the traffic, keeping it centered in its lane. Steering, you're just sitting there paying attention. It really makes a big difference, relieving the workload. A lot of people ask, do these cars have full self-driving? This has a full self-driving computer. If you want to add full self-driving, it is $200 a month, or it's $10,000. But I can tell you, for most people, Autopilot with the adaptive cruise control and the auto steer, I think is pretty much what most people want. The thing with full self-driving, and this could change. This is January 2022. It's still in beta. So those people utilizing full self-driving, to actually utilize the software, you have to have a safety score. So Tesla actually monitors the way you drive, and you have to have a almost perfect driving score, I think like 97 or 98 out of 100, in order to utilize that software. And then when you do use the full self-driving software, you still need to keep your hand on the wheel and pay attention, because it's in beta. So while the vehicle might be driving itself, all of a sudden want to take a left-hand turn for no reason. Maybe it might want to stop in the intersection. So it's kind of still like having a drunk driver, or like a 14-year-old kid driving who's new to driving. I think full self-driving is amazing. I think Tesla will be the first to crack full autonomy. I really do. And this vehicle is ready to be full self-driving when that technology gets there. Of course, if you do get the full self-driving now, you do get some other benefits besides the ability to use that beta software. Like navigate on Autopilot, smart auto park, things like that. But I think right now, if people have extra money, maybe you're flush with cash, you like the latest in gadgets, maybe it might be worth to you the $10,000 and $200 a month. But I think for most people, let's wait till the beta moves along a little bit further before you think about subscribing or purchasing that. So basically everything on the center screen is, this is how you operate the vehicle. You have a few buttons and switches here, but the majority of the functionality of the vehicle is operated through the screen. It's kind of like using an iPad. You just kind of play with it. You get to use, you get used to things. There's also some tutorials and stuff like that. And Tesla's always doing over their updates. In fact, this is now an obsolete operating system. When I'm done with this video, in fact, I'm going to do a software update. It takes about a half hour. And this is going to have a whole new display. So Tesla's constantly updating their vehicles, offering improvements, and that's another reason why I have that 2019 behind us, because it actually has the new software on it. It's kind of like your iPhone. You get a whole new operating system, sometimes a whole new iOS. Things change a little bit. There's a little bit of learning curve, but it's always improving. And that's the amazingness about the over-the-air updates on Teslas. Even though it's a vehicle that technically gets older and more miles, it does get better as it ages because it's getting over-the-air updates, giving it improvements in functionality, like being able to, you know, get live camera views on Sentry mode. Now they have a blind spot camera, so when you actually put your signal on, it'll pull up the camera, show you the blind spot where you're changing lanes to. I mean, it's constantly, and then also they added more video games. They added more you know, places you can stream. So it's constantly being updated, and no one else can come close. Okay, I'm back. I actually got a call. We had a customer looking at a Model 3 and he wanted me to show him how to use the Autopilot. Funny. All right, back to this one. Okay. All right, let's do a little bit more of a walk around. Okay. So let's talk about some of the differences between the older Model 3 and the 2021. So some big changes for 2021. You'll notice that we have a little bit of a different design in the center console. It does have a nicer feel. The older center console wasn't horrible, but it kind of had a cheaper, chintzy feel to it. This is much better, big improvement. And then it has the, I believe it has a wireless charger there as well, which is a big plus. And then we have a little bit more of a design on the doors. The wood trim now extends to the sides of the doors. And then fit and finish. Tesla is always making improvements to fit and finish, and I know there was some criticism on some of the earlier Teslas that the fit and finish wasn't the greatest, and I can see that. You know, there's a lot of other you know, big perks for a Tesla aside from fit and finish. You know, sometimes if there's a little bit of door gap here, it doesn't really bother me so much. But I can tell you that on the 2021 and 2022 Teslas, you can definitely notice big improvements as far as the fit and finish goes. We also have a different alloy wheel design. This one doesn't have the wheel covers, the aerodynamic wheel covers on it, but this does. You can remove them if you like the look, more of that kind of look. But we have a little bit of different design, and also you'll notice that we have dark tinting on like the door handles and these strips right here, where you can see on the older Model 3s, 2020 and older, they have the chrome accents, which is nice, but you know, kind of automotive style changes. For a while, the chrome accents on more premium vehicles was kind of the trend, but it's changed, and now we can see the trend where people kind of prefer the dark tinting or the black, and I like it too. I prefer to have the black myself. Okay, additional improvements. Well, here's one. You now have a power operated trunk on the Model 3, so a power opening and closing. Or on the older Model 3s, so on the older Model 3s, it's just manual, which isn't the end of the world, but you know, these are luxury vehicles, and having a power operated trunk, I guess you can call a luxury feature. One of the biggest improvements, I guess, for 2021 is the Model 3 got the same octo-valve heat pump that they use in the Model Y. And the new heat pump really improves efficiency. So that heat pump, not by adding extra batteries, but just by adding this super efficient new heat pump, the range in the 2021 Model 3 went from about, I think it was about 310, 315 miles on a long range 2020 model. For 2021, with that new heat pump, the range went up to, I think it's 343 miles or somewhere around there. So that's pretty amazing. There's not too many battery electric vehicles that have a range of 340 miles. And then on top of that, you have that amazing Tesla supercharging network, which is pretty much unparalleled. You can, at this point, they have so many superchargers. They have 30,000 in the world, the majority of them in the United States. We have 2 of them very close to us. You can pretty much drive almost anywhere in the country with your Tesla utilizing that supercharging network, and it's pretty quick. You can usually get a full charge in about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, Or in a pinch, if you're low on range, sometimes if you don't have a lot of time, just 15 minutes can add 50, 60, 70 miles of range. And honestly, if you're on a road trip, you don't want to drive nonstop for 200, 300 miles. You want to get out and take a break. All right, so let's take a look at this 2019 standard range, and you can kind of see the differences as the interior goes. So you can see this kind of has the older design on the interior. We don't have the wood strip that comes over here. See, a little bit fancier. Fit and finish feels a little bit nicer. It is just amazing how these improvements are coming along so fast with Tesla. And then take a look at that center console design. All right, now we'll take another look at this one. There's that door, and then let's take a look at the center console design. Put these lights on. All right, you can see it's a little bit different. A little bit more archaic. It's not perfect, but definitely the newer center console is a big improvement. Of course, you don't have wireless charging, you just have the old charging, which these are okay, but when you have a cell phone case like on my iPhone, it doesn't work. You have to actually take it out of the case to get it to fit in those chargers. And sometimes they don't always close all the way. You have to do it 2 times. All right, well, now we have this new updated infotainment system. You can see the display is a little bit different than on the 21 Model Y, which is ironic because this is older. But it just shows you, it's just telling the customer, this is one of the few vehicles that actually, as it physically gets older, it still gets better because it's getting over their updates and it's gaining features. And it's just crazy. We have so many Teslas, and it's hard for me to actually stay on top of all the software updates. Tesla's constantly rolling out software updates, and they don't cost money. Most of the pretty much all these updates are free, giving you improvements, updates to the Sentry mode, updates to the cameras, updates to the Autopilot. It is quite amazing, and I can tell you, no one is coming close to these updates like Tesla does. And the big reason is just the way they construct their vehicles, the way they design these vehicles, and having the majority of the vehicle operated through this infotainment system. They can add these features because it's not connected to all these buttons and switches everywhere else in the vehicle. In a lot of other vehicles, you have buttons and switches to operate things, and you can't change those. Those are there forever. But when you have digital buttons and switches, it's configurable forever. It's infinitely configurable. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. All right. So that being said, let's talk about a 21 Model 3 or a newer Model 3 versus a Model S. There really isn't a bad Tesla. For me, I would be happy to have any Tesla. Unfortunately, I have 2 kids in daycare. It costs me about $1,500 a month, so having a Tesla is not in the cards right now, but maybe when my kids get a daycare, that might happen. But luckily, my job as a used car manager, we get to buy and sell Teslas, so I constantly have a flow of Teslas coming in and out of the store. So I don't get to own them and drive them home, but I do get to play with them. I get to drive them, take them on errands and stuff, take them to the supercharger, and get to have fun with them. So I guess that is a good consolation prize aside from owning one. But for those of you that are thinking about buying a Tesla, maybe you're thinking about getting an older Model S versus a newer 3. Obviously, the newer S's are a lot of money. They're 6 figures and up. Where a newer or a lightly used Model 3 like this is around the same price range as like an older Model S. I guess the decision that you would have to make is what's more important for you: luxury and performance, or features and technology. For instance, this is a full self-driving capable vehicle. It has a full self-driving computer. It has the latest in tech and features. Newer heat pump. It has a 300+ mile range. Lots of good stuff. And it's pretty much the same price range as this 2015 P90D. This P90D has older technology, has an older infotainment system. This one will never be able to be full self-driving capable. It does have autopilot and those features, but it will never be able to have a full self-driving computer in it. It won't be able to have all the cool features and technology in the infotainment system because it's an older processor, older screen. Also, it doesn't have quite the range as this one. EPA range on this one is about 260 miles versus this one, which is 340 miles or so. But what this does have is performance and luxury. For one, when you get into the Model 3 or Model Y, pretty much the interior is the interior. You can change interior colors, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot of features. Leather, Tesla uses a synthetic leather on the Model 3 and Model Y. You can't get a full leather interior from Tesla. You do have aftermarket seat covers. But with the Model S and the Model X, you do get some nice features. More luxurious features, I should say. You have this nice leather interior. You have a leather and Alcantara dashboard, wood trim. It's a little bit dark in here, but it has more of a premium feel. Even though this is an older Model S, it has more of a premium feel. It's larger, it's more spacious. You know, instead of one screen here, you also have another screen here. So yeah, those are some differences. And then obviously this being a P90D, this makes 762 horsepower. Unbelievable specs by 2022, even more mind-blowing that Tesla was offering, you know, this range and performance back in 2015. There are car companies that are trying to make electric vehicles that still can't produce specs close to this in 2022 versus what Tesla was doing with this in 2015. So that's something to think about. So I guess if performance and luxury is kind of more what you're looking for, then maybe you might gravitate towards an older Model S. If you want, you know, technology and efficiency and maximum range, then obviously a newer Model 3 might be the way to go. Plus, you know, that one's still under, you know, bumper-to-bumper warranty. This one's out of the bumper-to-bumper warranty. You still have about a year left on the batteries and drive units. And people ask, you know, how long are the batteries going to last in a vehicle like this? Well, Tesla really doesn't have any intention of having to ever replace these batteries. The batteries are supposed to, like an engine in a car, it's supposed to last the lifetime of the vehicle. Sometimes things do happen and you do have to replace them prematurely, but that doesn't seem to happen quite so much as Tesla. They've been making the Model S since 2012, so there's plenty of high mileage examples out there. We know how the batteries hold up, and it seems that Tesla overbuilt the batteries. They're very robust. These sophisticated thermal management systems to keep the batteries happy and long lasting. There's Teslas out there 300,000 or 400,000 miles. In fact, I was reading an article about a P85D ready to hit about 1 million miles. Quite amazing. And then people say, oh, well, you know, what if you do have to replace the battery? Like I saw this one thing on the news where this guy, he's upset about having to replace the battery in his Model S, so instead he decided to blow it up because it was $20,000 to replace the batteries. Well, honestly, if you have to replace an engine and go to a new, you know, BMW dealership or Mercedes dealership and replace an engine in a high-end, you know, BMW or Mercedes at the dealership at full retail cost, it's going to cost probably $30,000 or $40,000. So believe me, I'm in the car business. I've seen what it costs to replace engines. I'm going to tell you, in a high-end luxury vehicle, which Teslas compete with, you know, replacing batteries on one of these, if it's around $20,000, is about how much it's going to cost to replace an engine in a car. So I think that's a bad argument for people. But the other thing you have to think about is that, you know, as this gets older, it's not going to leak oil. You're not going to have issues in the emission control system. I just recently had to replace a catalytic converter in my Subaru. My Subaru burns oil. I had to do a timing belt to it, water pump. You're never going to have to do these maintenance items to this. Really, the only big thing you're going to have to worry about in this vehicle is the batteries going bad. Aside from that, you know, these have been very reliable vehicles. The one weak link on the Model S is these door handles. These door handles, they pop in and out, but the driver one, which is used quite often, they often stop working. I've had 2 Model S's where the door handles broke. But guess what? On the 2 I've had, Tesla charged $300 to replace the whole door handle assembly and fix it. And in one instance, I didn't even have to take it to Tesla. They sent one of their Rangers, one of their mobile repair vehicles, to our dealership and replaced it for 300 bucks. And I did it all through my Tesla app. I communicated, scheduled a service appointment. I communicated with the service technician. I paid for it all through my mobile app. And I can tell you, you go to Mercedes or BMW, replace a whole door handle assembly, it's probably going to cost more than $300. And the thing is that Tesla is a vertically integrated company. They don't have franchises. They don't have part suppliers like other people. Like, you know, we're a conventional car dealership. We're an Infiniti franchise. So Infiniti doesn't own this dealership. A group of owners owns the dealership and property. We pay franchise fees to sell new Infinitis. But Tesla, it's all vertically integrated. All the dealerships, everything is owned by Tesla. So there's no markup. There's no middlemen. So they're able to be very competitive as far as parts and service goes. So you'll find that owning you know, an electric vehicle, you're going to save money in service because there's not too many things to go bad with it. There's no oil changes. Basically, you know, you're rotating tires, replacing windshield blades, replacing air filters, cabin filters, things like that. Maybe a light bulb might go out. Like I said, a door handle assembly might go out, but these have proven to be very, very reliable vehicles. So that does it. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully this was informative. I love to talk about Teslas. We do great with pre-owned Teslas. If you're interested, we always have a great selection. We have a number of 3s in stock. I have a 2018 P100D on the way. I also have a 2021 Model Y long range on the way. We've had Model Y performances, Model 3 performances. Model X's are really hard to find. I'd like to get one, but we've had a few here and there. So, you know, I'm open game for any, you know, nice pre-owned Tesla I can get my hands on. They do really well for us. I love them. I like selling them. We like selling them. They're great vehicles. Yeah. So thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it was informative, and have a wonderful day.